everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Overcrank. And today I'm excited because Sophie's back joining Colden and I. And it's always fun to have Sophie on the show. And I'm going to try to convince her to be on a regular basis, but we'll see how we can get with that. It's fun having Sophie join us.
I'm very excited to get into it.
Awesome. Colden, how you doing today?
Great, man. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm catching up with your record, though. This is my third live stream now in 4 days. So I don't know what's going on, but I've got the bug now.
Exactly.
So Sophie was on our show about, I don't know, 4 weeks ago. And she is one of the few people in the United States that has her hands on the Muse 2 Pro. Ta-da. So Sophie, what's been we're going to first talk about your experience with the camera to start with. How have you enjoyed it? What's working? What is it you love about it?
Absolutely. So yeah, I've talked about this before, and I've talked about this on my channel, but I love the form factor of this camera, and I love my original Muse, which is essentially very similar to Pocket 3 a lot. And the only thing I've been missing a lot is the dual lens, and this camera has got it. So it's been really enjoyable using it for all kinds of content. I've shot a couple of YouTube videos with it, and a couple of other types of content, because it gives me so much flexibility with like the dual lens system. And I've been testing it and trying to replace my other cameras with it. And I've just been seeing how it performs, and it's been really fun so far.
What's, I don't know if they give you any specs, that does probably come in retail packaging because it's a test unit, right? Do you have any idea what sensors in it? Do they tell you? Is there?
Actually, no. So I'm not a very spec obsessed person. So I wasn't asking a lot of questions. The only specs I know that they told me is the 70 stop dynamic range, kind of like slogan that we're all throwing around, which I honestly know very little about. The only thing I noticed is that X-Log between the original Muse and this Muse are very different. In the Muse 2 Pro, you actually have 3 color profiles: original, X-Log 2, and X-Log 3. And they're all very different to work with. That's the only thing I know about the 17 stop dynamic range kind of spec that we're all talking about. But also, I did test something that we talked about last time about the zoom, and how when you zoom like smoothly all the way from 1x to like 12x, it does that little weird jump that is very similar to an iPhone camera jump, how it switches between cameras. That makes me think that there might be 2 sensors or something similar.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Colden. You got a question?
Did you test? Because I know the DJI version of this, you can only have, I guess it would be X-Log 3 in the main sensor, in the main lens.
That is a good thought. Let me look at it right now, because I remember in the early days I was testing it out, and it was the case. You were not able to shoot X-Log 3. Yep, here we have it. So I actually see a message.
Oh,
hold on. I pressed the zoom button.
Yep. Oh, it just went away. Oh, there it is.
I know it's blurred, but it says something like X-Log 3 only supports 1x zoom.
Okay. All right.
So that's the same as the DJI. And so your 17 stops is limited to X-Log 3 on the main sensor. And then I think outside of that, the X-Log 2 is like 14 stops. So you're right in line with the Luna and the regular Muse and the Pocket 3. Like you're kind of in that zone with all the other ones if you get out of that main lens.
Yeah.
Confirmed here, Todd.
Confirmed for an actual user. I'm curious too, because you're probably like me, and I'm making assumptions here. I'm not a great colorist. Like, I think Colden does a much better job than I on that field. So are you finding it difficult to work with the X-Log 3 because it's so flat? Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I'm not a great colorist either. I've only gotten into color grading a few months ago, not even a year ago. So I'm very much new into this, and I find it a little bit hard to bring X-Log 3 colors to what I want them to look like. Because of that, I mostly shoot an X-Log 2 just because it works for me. I know how to make it pretty, basically.
That was my experience too, initially with the Luna. The Luna's log is much flatter than the DJI Pocket 3 log, whatever they call that one, and the one on the Action 6. That one's just like a slight log. So when you pop on color, it's almost instant, great looking image. I'm going definitely through a learning curve myself on the Luna. Like, oh man, I really got to push this thing. That's outside my normal territory. So thankfully, I have a friend like Colden. He's been giving me mini tutorials along the way as we talk about it on the channel. So,
have you had any other Insta360 cameras that you've color graded?
No, this is the first. No, and not only that, this is the first Insta that actually has log, to my knowledge. I don't think the previous.
I think they've had, Todd. I think they've had log. The problem is they don't have 10-bit. This was the first Insta360 that has 10-bit. So it's like that's like the old Sonys too. If you were like, I have an A7 III in the studio, it comes with S-Log, but you'd never shoot it because once you compress it in an 8-bit, like talk about hard color grading. If it's not spot on, it's trash. So I think that's the big thing.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was asking because, Colden, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was going to ask you something else, but you go first. I'll
okay, yeah, just quick thought. I recently compared Insta360 Ace Pro 2 to DJI Nano and like how they are being color graded, and I've noticed that Nano's D-Log is a lot more colorful than Insta360's I-Log, but it was a lot easier to grade for me. Yeah. So I'm wondering if Insta360's I-Log and Luna's, not Insta360's, Ace Pro 2's I-Log looks similar to Luna's.
Curious. Yeah, it is a DJI, for all of the things we've been complaining about, they have a very solid camera, and I love their color science. It works really well, and it is, like you said, very easy to grade. I don't have to really work too hard when I use my Pocket 3. My Luna, I love it because I love all the flexibility that I have, but man, getting that grade right has been tricky. Fortunately, they have just released in the latest update that overlay, so I can see what my image would kind of look like, so I can make sure I get my exposure and everything right first. Then the grading hasn't been as terrible. I've had some real wrestling matches trying to get my color right, and I've actually, Colden, you're going to be ashamed of me. I'm going to admit it right here. This is like an anonymous, camera's anonymous guy.
Can we blur your face? You want me to blur your face out on pics? You don't know who this shot is, obviously.
That's right.
We'll pixelate it.
I have been using a lot more of the automatic features, and that's been helping me get better color.
Yeah. So I don't blame you on these.
That's a big confession to make.
I'm very embarrassed.
Dude, I don't blame you on these. I mean, I'll admit, like, I literally took my Pocket 3 out maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I dialed in all my settings, but then literally, like, and you've seen this on probably both of y'all's cameras as well. Like, if you go from a shaded spot to a sunny spot and you blow out the highlights, you're cooked. So that's where I was like, I had everything set perfectly, and then the sunlight shifted just a little bit, and I got back, and you can't see. I mean, the Pro 2's screen's a little bit better. Maybe the Luna's screen is a little bit better than the Pocket 3. But you don't have a 7-inch director's monitor. Like, you can't see what you're doing. So I got back in and I loaded all the footage. I was like, oh, it's all fried. I can't use any of this. So I'm with you on those little screens, like the automatic features. But you led into my question. So Sophie, my question to you was, do you have exposure tools or overlays in the Muse that you can or are you shooting on log? Like, when you set it to Xlog 2 or Xlog 3, does it just look flat?
It has color preview, which I'm very happy about, because the original Muse does not, and everything looks great, and I have no idea what I'm shooting. But with the Muse 2 Pro, it has the color preview, which doesn't quite bring it to like the original auto colors it does, but it gives me a good preview of like what the colors look like. That's one of the features. Like, the dual lens system and the color preview are the features I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, neither of you have like zebras or anything. I mean, neither of these. You're not getting false color.
No.
Okay, got it.
No, it's just the color preview. That's it.
Yeah, but that helps.
I think it's dumb. I think I got to look on the app. I think on the app preview, you can enable a histogram. at least.
So you get a little bit more. Yeah. You get a little.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
But it's not on the camera screen. I mean, the screen's so small. I don't know how they add that in there, but I think, I don't remember. I don't use the app, but I think in one of the updates, I saw something about enable histogram, and I'm like, oh, that's a move forward.
Be nice to help you nail in, because you've talked about it, Todd. Like if you want to push that highlight as high as you can, but you can't clip it. Like that's the trick on the log profiles, is like get it as close as you can, but don't clip it, because once it's fried, it's fried.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Sophie. Have you experienced on these? Because another friend of mine that's got the camera has kind of told me it's a great camera, but it's clearly not ready for their launch. He said it's buggy. It'll shut down sometimes. Like, have you? Because obviously at this point we could talk about the camera, but they've either pushed this to never coming out or not coming out for a long time. Have you noticed the same kind of things? Like, does it feel like a product ready for launch or not yet?
So I was kind of ready for it to be a little buggy, since they made it very clear that this is a test unit and not ready for production yet. Because I've received this one almost 2 months ago, when it was pretty early. And at the beginning, there were more bugs than now. At the beginning, there were some things that were fixed with hardware updates through like the app and stuff. The only thing that's bothering me a lot right now is that it tends to overheat pretty quickly and shut down for a long period of time.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. But to be fair, I've been shooting it like in the sun in the summer. It's been pretty hot and the sun's been beaming on it, and I've been leaving it running for like 10 minutes at a time, and then randomly it would just not respond to me and then turn off for like 3 hours, and no matter what I do, it's not going to turn on.
Wow.
So that's something, that's something that I mentioned to Xtra team as well. And I believe that's a problem of my particular test unit. And that's one of the reasons they're replacing it. So I wouldn't say that about all test units, but this is what I've been dealing with mine.
That would be cumbersome.
Have you
if you're
been
using it in a professional application?
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen a lot of your posts. Have you been putting it like on a stick or a tripod, or you've been hand holding it that's caused the overheat?
Both. I've been using it a lot with both. It's been overheating more when I would leave it on a tripod, just because I would leave it running for a longer period of time.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because when I'm shooting in hand, I'm mostly doing like clips up to like 30 seconds max. But when it's on a tripod, it's running for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So overheating. Anything else that you've noticed on this?
One thing that's also that actually I've noticed people complain about early units of DJI's Pocket 4 Pro is that the gimbal is not like locked in when it's off. It's like wobbling a little bit.
Yeah,
that's something that's bothering me, just because, I want it to be very fixed when it's off. But otherwise, honestly, I haven't seen many glitches since a couple of recent hardware updates, software updates.
And that that doesn't ship with any kind of gimbal protector either, does it? There's no.
No, it does not. It's
case.
just a case. It's just like a soft case like this.
Yeah, that would make me extra nervous.
Sure.
Just to use an expression.
Pun intended.
Yeah, that would make me extra nervous. Yeah.
No, I think the case does a great job at protecting it, but I have this little case for my original Muse.
Yeah.
And I would love to have something similar. Or even, honestly, I love seeing the Insta360 Lunas, like protected cases, the ones that like snap off when you pull them down. That looks very useful.
That one's very clever. I haven't bought that one yet. I don't like the way the system works. It's weird because I don't know. I'm paranoid about the gimbal, right? We're all paranoid about these gimbals. They're very plasticky and small. And that one forces you to push the gimbal in a different direction to use it. Like it has to, instead of it's resting normal when you turn it off, it has to be in line, and that's how it slides. It wouldn't slide if it were sideways. So it has to, like, when I saw it used, I was like, oh, I don't love that.
So you have to kind of force it in a different position while it's locked?
I'm not sure.
Or does it turn off in a different position?
I think it turns off in a different position when that is clipped on. Like somehow it knows to spin and go that direction. Yeah, it's a different. setup, and I'm like, I don't know. That's strange. Why didn't they make it just work with the native position? I don't know.
Had a lot to work with.
Yeah, I like the actual the case it ships with. That is a very robust gimbal protective case. I can throw that in any bag and not worry about it at all. And I like the way they designed it, that it holds a couple filters inside of it, which the original DJI Pocket 3 did. It's the magnetic mount for a couple of filters. So I always have my ND filter and a mist filter with me if I want. And it has a little cutout because it obscures everything. Well, first, unlike this one, which is the Pocket 3, you can't get the memory card in and out without taking it off, which is dumb. That one you can. And they put a little cutout so you could see the charging light from the front of the case with the case on. I'm like, it's a very well thought out case. Yeah. Very smart case. Enough of the Luna talk. Everybody's probably tired of me talking how wonderful my Luna is. So the final question on this topic, because we're gonna talk more camera gear with you now. You're gonna be a camera nerd with us. Welcome to the party.
I'm very excited.
Are you keeping it, or are you gonna sell it for a premium because you're gonna have one of the hottest cameras in the country?
I'm definitely keeping it.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I know that I don't know how many of the test units are out there, but I know that I've been one of the first 5 people to get it on my hands. And I just wanted to say this way. I enjoy this camera.
Fine, fair enough. Any other questions from you, Colden, on the...
I don't know if you can even, say this or not. Obviously, if I ask you something that you don't want to talk about, you can punt the question. But has Xtra talked to you? One thing that I thought was really interesting. Obviously, I did a video about this FCC news that came out last week, and I was impressed that Xtra, for its early adopters, was automatically refunding everybody. That's great. They emailed, I think, almost everybody. Most people on my YouTube channel had said, like, yeah, I got the email and I got my refund is pending. But like in a moment, all of their marketing now, if you go to Xtra's Instagram page, has completely dropped the Muse 2 Pro, all of it. It's all gone back to the original Muse and some of their action cameras and stuff. And I've heard that they've also told all their creators, stop even mentioning this, go sell the original Muse. Have you had some of that contact with them where they're like, hey, can you just talk about our old products?
Well, I've had them kind of update me on what the situation looks like. And I specifically asked if we are continuing promoting the Muse 2 Pro or we are focusing on the original Muse and the other cameras. And what they've told me is that the support for all of the release products is still available. Like, that's not changed whatsoever. They did not update me on any Muse 2 Pro timelines, but they have told me that I have a green light to post all of my Muse 2 content, Muse 2 Pro content. I can still keep talking about it, still keep showing it, still keep reviewing it. So they did not tell me let's not talk about Muse 2 Pro anymore.
Well, that's good. So they didn't push you away from it.
Yeah, they didn't want to shut up about it.
Colden, I'm just curious, did you play around can you go on the website like you can DJI and say you're from a different country and then it shows up again?
I don't even know how you do that, man. I'm so tech.
It's really funny. It's really simple. If you just go to DJI's website, at the top it just has a little thing. Are you shopping?
Oh, just do a little drop.
Just a little drop down, and all of a sudden it's like all the other products. Hilarious. You're like, oh, look at this.
Maybe
funny.
You guys know this better than I do, but is Xtra even sold in a different company? They're a Delaware registered company.
I don't know.
So I would, and I had that question. Somebody asked that on my YouTube video, was like, oh, does this just mean Xtra is going to sell in other countries if they get banned? Which I'm like, we'd have to go register in another country. But I guess if you've got a whole ton of product that you still have to get rid of, which is why it seemed timely that all of their marketing is now go buy the original Muse. It's almost it's $300 or something. Like which is insane. I could see them selling the Muse for under $300. Like if you want a good Pocket 3, depending on how this goes in the next month, I could see that price dropping even below whatever it is now, $329, which is good price.
Really good price.
Ridiculous.
But I would
what a good camera this is.
almost see that, if they're staring down the barrel of a total ban, they're going to want to get that inventory out quickly. This is my thought. I don't know anything.
you just hit on another a point I saw on one of my news feeds about that also the DJI Pocket 3 has just hit an all-time low price, and it comes with a Mic 2 Pro basically for free. It's like it was a really good package, and I'm like, man, but Muse still is cheaper. But there's a point where you're like, I don't know, do I want the original or do I want the extra? That's a balancing act. Actually, there's one more topic on this, but this is focused at Colden because I found this hilarious. If you want to talk about this, so Colden has been making all this content, and he posted it on Reddit, and then something happened to your Reddit post.
So this was interesting because I've heard this was the first time it happened to me firsthand. Is I've heard that Xtra has been working diligently to scrub any negative comments about the camera or any drama that they've been in. So there was a Reddit forum of Xtra cameras that had people asking about the FCC ban. And I said, hey, I just put together this whole video on it. Would love your thoughts on, what I missed, what's happening. And Xtra reported it as misinformation. It was from Xtra's account as misinformation and requested that it got blocked. So I shared this on 2 different Xtra camera forums, both of which got taken down as misinformation. And the title is Xtra getting blocked by the FCC like DJI? So the title's not misinformation.
Yeah, it's not.
Nothing
it's not
in the video it's only explaining where they are currently right now. They chose to ignore the FCC's request for information. So it's just wild to me that
it's wild.
And that's where I was like, I'm at that point where I wouldn't even want to support that company, because if you're willing to put all this money into blocking comments, creators, thoughts, but you can't email the FCC back, that's just nuts to me. And the other thing that's crazy that was in my video that I didn't even realize until I started digging, when the FCC mailed them the request for information, it came back returned to sender. So the mailing address that Xtra has on their Delaware registration as a company, they not even accepting mail. So I don't know. Take that. That's my tinfoil hat. But it was wild. I got both notifications over the weekend that, hey, Xtra's taken down your comment on Reddit. Okay,
that's crazy that you
interesting.
Know who is reporting your comments, that it's not anonymous even.
Yeah. Well, it's on Xtra's Reddit, and it's the Xtra administrator.
Oh,
with their logo.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm misinforming everybody that the FCC is currently investigating, but so's the FCC. They are spreading misinformation because you can go on the FCC's website and see exactly what they've posted to Xtra. But I guess for Xtra, that's misinformation. For the rest of us, that's just facts.
Well, yeah, you were showing screenshots of the actual filings and everything. I don't know.
God, that's misinformation. Xtra's going to come take you down. I didn't realize that.
That would be earmarks of that Chinese government focus that we've been talking about. Feels maybe same kind of administration is handling that as well. Okay, going to talk about some other camera news now. And one in particular, I want to start with Sophie. Have you seen this new Insta360 X6 leak that's coming out reportedly this week?
This week,
camera, that it's supposedly on the 30th. Hold on, I'm going to share this screen.
Okay.
Yeah, the embargoes are reportedly lifted on the 30th. So that's the biggest leak is that the current agreed upon embargoes lift on the 30th. So we'll see.
Interesting.
And there's a couple of things that I like about this one of which is interesting. It's on this is the retail packaging that's been leaked. They say it's got a 140-minute runtime, which is impressive.
That's long for a 360 camera.
For a 360 camera. I also like, one of the things, I bought the DJI 360 camera when it came out. I like it. I really like the form factor of the DJI one. It's like a little bit squatter.
Like more square screen.
Yeah. It's a nice portable, pocketable thing. Whereas I think like Colden, the X5 seems like a big unit.
Yeah, it's very tall. And the problem is you get on pretty much any selfie stick, because it's so heavy and long, you get bowing and stuff. Like it's hard to take that on. I mean, that's my action camera. These 360s, they're killer for that. I love them. And you've used them as like fake drone shots too. That's what I like using them for. But when you have it that tall and that heavy, Like I agree. I liked that DJI. Even the extra version, I was like, oh, maybe I buy this because
It's very like portable.
the square is square is just everything is kind of like the center of gravity is lower.
Yes.
And so to me, that makes the most sense. So I like
Yeah.
this.
And this one is nice because it's
Actually-
kind of in between the two.
Yeah.
True. It's a little bit taller. I think it's a little bit more optimized for like, the portrait orientation, the social
Yep.
media style of content, but not as tall because I still have the X3, Insta360 X3. I
Okay.
hate that thing. I have to use it for real estate work, but I would much rather have one of the newer ones. Even the extra one, I'm considering asking them for it.
And here they have a side by side, so you can see it. Compared to the X5, it looks like. So it's considerably shorter.
Yeah.
The
I'm
other
curious
thing,
how they packed more specs into a smaller body, though.
well, yeah. Well, and the other thing I found very interesting is I think it says somewhere on here that it will do 8K. Colden, you're going to like this, 8K 50 frames.
I think actually we'll get 8K 60, but yeah, that one because that's the Euro.
Oh, right.
That's PAL. So we should get, because I've seen both, but yeah, 8K 60, which I was thinking like that's actually the first time it's a usable slow motion.
Yeah.
Because as much as GoPro will sell 960 frames, 60 is great for.
It is.
I mean, you can get, and then if you want to drop it down, you'll have 120, and I think they're 5K mode or something like that. But having 8K 60 is great. That would be my assumption because this is a PAL version, so it's 8K 50. If we get that, awesome. Now you're at 40% slow motion on a 23 timeline. That's great.
The only thing I didn't love is that price point that's coming in at $897.
$897 is a lot for a 360 camera.
That is an investment, man.
Now is that $897 like
it's
European, or is that supposed to be
saying
US?
€789, $897 US. That is that's a
I will
punchy
probably
price.
not be buying it for that price.
Oh wait, here we go. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's the creator. That's got to be the creator
pack.
combo.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so $670
for just the camera.
For just the camera.
I would bet I don't know. I mean, we'll see, but I would bet they have to come in under that. Because right now on B&H you can get the X5 for $549, and I don't think that's. I mean, you just pulled this on us, so I haven't gone and researched it, but I don't think that's dropped a whole lot since it came out. No. So I could understand because Sophie, you said pack more specs, and I don't think they've packed a lot of more things into this one. The processor's gotten a little bit. The processor's gotten a little bit better, so we're getting 8K 60 or 50 compared to 8K 30, which was in the X5. It's smaller. I think they've got a slightly larger sensor in it. I thought the X5 was like 1/1.3, and this is 1/1.1, which is nice. They didn't get the full 1 inch
sensor. Yeah.
I think the new leaks say 1/1.1, which is
okay.
It's pretty darn close, but it's not going to be a true 1 inch sensor. But so they've slightly larger sensor, slightly better frame rates. We're still at 8K, which is where the X5 was. So as much as I see this as an iteration, and I have the X4 and I have the 1R, I don't have the X5. I told you over the weekend, Todd, this would be fun for me to buy. Out of the Luna and the Muse and the DJI and blah, 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 this might be one that I would be interested in picking up. But if they choose to go 100 over where their normal release is, so say their normal release is 550 and they want to go 650, and that's the other thing that drives me nuts. And I know you got to sell your products. They changed the battery again. They changed all the casing. Like, this is the GoPro move where it's like, but I already have 4 batteries. Because you sold me on this is the new battery, and now you've got a new battery, and
just so you don't believe them anymore.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's just, but you almost, these action cameras, you have to have replaceable batteries, because if you're going to take it out on the ski slopes or you're going to take it out hiking, you don't want to. It's those batteries or a big brick that you're going to plug the camera into. So I'd rather just buy the batteries. But yeah, if they can do it. Go ahead. Sorry, Todd.
I was going to say that was one of the major selling points for me on the DJI Action Cam, because it uses the exact same battery as the Action 6. So I already
Yep.
had these batteries, and boy, it's swappable. And if I'm out somewhere and I have, I always carry both in my little pack. I'm like, oh, I need this camera instead. Swap the battery. It's very, that was a very cool design. It is frustrating when a company keeps making you buy, because I'm like you, I have extra SD cards and extra batteries for everything.
Yeah.
And I just, that would be irritating. Like, oh, now I got this whole pack of batteries that are useless. And you're never going to sell those used. Like, that's the one thing you're going to eat it on for sure.
Yeah.
So, who's buying it? Anybody? Colden, you getting it?
I'd buy it, but only if it can stay under the 600 mark.
Okay.
600, 625, because realistically, I think we talked about this before, Todd. To me, this is the one place where having a 12K option makes sense. As dumb as that is, and everybody goes, well, you're going to fill up the SD card. Really, you want to talk about data rates, 12K. But I think what I've said before is, just because they have it, the Pixis 12K shoots in 12K. You can go watch every single YouTuber that says, I just shoot on 4K. I never use 12K. So it's there if you have it. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying, you have to shoot this in 12K.
Right.
But if there are times where I know I'm going to, because to me, this is a perfect competitor. And Todd, when we talked about, is this gimbal camera thing overhyped?
Right.
This is a perfect competitor where if you're shooting 360, there is no such thing as a shaky shot anymore. You have now a 360 sphere of stabilization. Insta360's done a great job at figuring out how to stabilize a 360 shot. And if you get it to 12K, now all of a sudden your reframe is at least 4K. You can reframe at vertical in 4K and horizontal in 4K. So all my issues with but you can't turn the gimbal, which is the reason why I didn't buy this one, goes away with a 360 camera. My issue right now is 8K cut down into a 16:9 frame is like 2.7K, which is fine, but it's not future proofing to the next buy. And so that's where 12K, if you had that option, I'm not going to shoot an interview on it, but I could shoot. Sophie, like you were saying, what are you using the Muse 2 Pro for? It's like 30-second clips usually.
Exactly.
That's where you could do 12K and not have crazy
and you want
file
them to
sizes.
look good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's really the next step of this evolution that they haven't been able to get. So to me, this is the iPhone iteration where they can say it's 20% better this and it's 10% better this, and great, but you have not earned, to me, a $200 price delta.
True. Within like a year, because I think they released the X5, which is last year.
They're doing this in a yearly. Yeah, it is the iPhone model of okay, we have a new one every year, which is great. I'm fine. It's GoPro adopted the same model. The problem with that model is I'm not going to buy every one. I'll buy every other one or every third. And that's, as long as your business model can support that, then you're still getting a bunch of sales every year. iPhone obviously has made that a hugely winning model that other people have copied. So I don't think it's a bad model. If you're going to iterate on it, you don't get to go, okay, well, now this one is $200 more, in my opinion. So I'll buy it, Todd, but not at that, if it is really 700, 800 for the camera, I'll pass. I'll wait till we get 12K.
Well, and I think we're entering the territory we're most afraid of. And that is lack of competition lets them price it how they want.
Yeah.
They're sitting there going like, well, DJI is not going to release a new camera this year.
Yeah.
And, and neither is Muse. So we can price it wherever we want. I do envy the user replaceable lenses. Those are a clear break point on these types of cameras. And so like on mine, I immediately bought a couple of protectors from Amazon to click on. It took me a couple tries to find one that was good. They were made, the QC on some of these little companies that are popping these things out. I was like, I couldn't even get it to snap on. But I finally got one that was crystal clear, snaps on. I'm like, okay, I feel better about my lens, but I'm never going to be rough with it like I would an action cam. It's more for specialized shots for me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you guys feel, but those the X4 shipped with the screen protectors, like the Insta360 screen protectors, or not screen, lens protectors.
Lens protector, yeah.
That's
But
nice
to me, yes and no. It was nice and it was a good thing to have. And definitely if I'm shooting something with like dirt flying up, I'll put those on. But it is the same concept to me as somebody who goes out and buys like a Canon L lens or a Sony G Master lens. They spend $2,500 on this 24-70, and then they put a little K&Y $8 on Amazon, filter on in the front of it. You're only as good as the glass that you put in front of the expensive glass. So if you're shooting it through, a $5, $10 piece of plastic, basically. So what I've seen is there's all this weird glaring and there's like streaking on the plastic pieces. And so it never looks good. If I can avoid it, I will just risk it, which is a stupid thing to do. If we can replace the actual glass elements and it's $100 or whatever, like that saves this camera. And I think that's the trajectory where everybody is going.
Yeah.
In terms of, so that's my mind space is I've almost, as nice as it is that they included it, I almost never use it because it just looks bad. Because no matter what, you've already, the hard part about those is you think about, it's like an 8mm lens that is getting your 360, right? Or your 180, and they put two of them on there. So any imperfection on that lens at an 8mm or 6mm
would be huge.
Is any fleck of dirt, any scratch, any streak. And because now you're several millimeters away from the actual glass element, and that's several millimeters away from the sensors, you're really like multiple feet is what it feels like away. So everything comes into focus and it just looks bad. So user replaceable lenses, huge benefit. Huge. I would say though, in terms of like competition, we don't have a DJI, but when Insta360 started these, the only thing Insta360 was competing against was, I think, Theta maybe started these like big 360 cameras, and they were very expensive. GoPro had one that was really terrible. They were kind of the only one in the space. I still see this as a commodity in that you can't overprice it too much because people just don't need it. They won't buy it, or they'll buy the lower level one. So that's my hope, at least, is that they are getting, as much as this is a unique product, the GoPro Mission 1 does incredible 180-degree video, and that starts at like $600, I think $599 for the base model. So you could get that. The iPhone shoots great stuff. You have these pocket cameras. So that's just my thought is like, yes, they're going to be the one in the market at the moment, but there's still other cameras that will do somewhat of the job.
Yeah.
True. I feel like a 360 camera is such a nice to have thing and such a niche thing. It's definitely not going to be your primary camera like many other cameras. Even action cameras are somebody's main vlogging cameras. And obviously these gimbal cameras for many people are like their primary content cameras. But a 360 camera is probably never going to be the primary camera that you invest in. So I think they can't really hope to overprice it and still have a lot of demand.
Fair enough.
Now I will jump one because I made a bet. I made a bet 3 years ago, and I'm shocked that this has not come true yet. So I want your guys' thoughts. Are we close, or is it just my bet that I overshot and I was wrong at? YouTube, I think it was close to like 2020 timeframe, allows for immersive content, 360 content in a 360 space. So if you take your 360 video and you upload the full 360-degree output export, it automatically creates that world for you. And you can go play 360 content immersively in YouTube now, where you can use your phone and look all over, or if you're on the desktop, you can drag all over. So this idea, when these started to become popular, is that your social media platforms are going to start adopting this, and you're going to be able to look around. And now immersive is going to be the next social platform. You're not going to post a TikTok in 9:16. You're going to post a TikTok of your whole world, and people are going to be able to be there with you. That bet got pushed forward. Look at what Blackmagic Design's doing right now. all their new cameras, they're like $20,000-$30,000 cameras, are immersive capable and working in with the Vision Pro. My thought is that Instagram and Facebook, you can see this on Facebook, has the like parallax effects on some of their photos and
It's
stuff
horrible.
now. It's bad, but they have the ability to read 360 information. I thought for sure, even 3-4 years ago, Facebook and Instagram were going to start implementing immersive content into their feeds because you can do it so easily. And these cameras are now cheap and now in more people's hands.
That's a
So
good thought.
does... Go ahead.
Have you seen what Instagram does with the Meta glasses?
I was just... That's...
Okay,
to
go ahead,
me,
go ahead.
that's where... Okay, now you can. Like, I think... What was it? It was Instagram CEO posted a video of him like at the soccer match or something. And like literally you could turn your phone and see the Meta glasses. My thought on that is, are they gatekeeping that technology only to make you buy the Meta glasses? Or is that the next evolution? Because to me, that's where these 360 cameras knock out the pocket cameras completely from the market, is if your social deliverables somehow go to immersive, doesn't matter how great your gimbal is, you're going to want a 360 sphere.
That's so interesting.
Actually, on that topic, there's a brand new company in our area. They approached, I work with a lot of musicians, and they approached this one musician and tried to set up, I think she did it, a concert in a venue they set up, and they have multiple 360 cameras. And the idea is that a viewer can go in and go like, I want to see what she's doing on the piano. I want to see what the drummer's doing. And they can move around in the whole space as if they're there in the room with the musician. So there are people trying to push that boundary. I'm just not sure how you stitch multiple 360 cameras together so that so the user has their own defined experience. That's wild tech to me.
Well, look at what Matterport's done.
Oh,
Sophie,
yeah. Have you been on Zillow lately?
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. But that is, I guess you're right.
That's a
stitch that
still
together.
shot. But if you have the technology of like mapping a map and allowing the user to go into different spots in space, you could probably do it with video too, since it's already recorded. Or even, I don't know, a live stream would probably work the same.
Yeah. I guess the trick then, right? The biggest trick at that point is, for a production, where's your lights? Where's all the stuff? You know, like I have a big softbox here and a couple lights over here. Like all of that now, it just looks ugly.
There's no out of the frame then when you're shooting 360.
Yeah. How do you, I guess you just have to have a giant softbox, like in a studio, like a photo studio, that's just a 30-foot chimera above you the whole time.
There is this whole trend of like showing more behind the scenes. Even like bigger brands are starting to show like their lights and their setups. So I think if you shoot a 360 video and people get to see your actual setup, it's going to be more of a pro than a con.
I suppose. I will say the other view of my studio is really, really ugly.
Okay.
Look at behind the scenes.
So I would really have to do some fix up.
Yeah, you just have to put more effort into your setup then.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be a whole room now. Okay, I want to move topics now. Briefly, I want to talk about the Sony FX5. Sophie, is that something that's ever in your wheelhouse, a bigger production camera? Or are you you're a content creator? Is that something you ever are interested in?
I'm actually shifting more from a videographer to a content creator. So I am going smaller and easier setups.
Yep.
I've heard about the FX5 releasing, but yeah, I think my whole lane is going like smaller, more effortless and stuff like that. So that's in parallel. That is not necessarily the direction I'm going into.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think it's an awesome camera. The price is a little punchy for me.
How much is it?
I was like, it's like 5,600.
49.
Colden? 49. Okay. 4,900.
Colden's like, it's in my cart right now.
That's the question I have to ask, because one of my viewers is like, is Colden buying it or not? So Colden.
Love it. So as much as y'all like, yes, it is a little bit of a gut punch in terms of the price, when I did a video talking about where I thought the FX5 was going to fit, Sony is notoriously overpriced. And that's just what they deliver products that are fully finished and production ready.
Yeah.
And they have the name brand and the recognition of being able to charge a little bit more than the Canon and the Nikon competitors. You know, they're similar in space to where Ari is in the full production. You know, you're not going and nickel and diming an Alexa 35. It's
right.
It is what it is. That is the price. You don't get to go, oh, well, they need to compete with these content creators. No, it's an Alexa 35. This is what it costs. Yeah. I thought Sony was going to charge $6,500 for this.
Okay.
And I was like ready for it. That puts it more in line with the FX6. The FX6 is $6,800. And this arguably does some of the things better than the FX6. It completely replaces the FX3, which is, you know, it launched for like $4,500.
Yeah.
So you're saying $400 more as a gut punch? I don't think so. I think they actually listened to the competitive space, and they were more receptive of their pricing structure, their pricing strategy than they have been in the past. When the FX3 came out, I mean, that's a 4K, it's a 12 megapixel sensor. They were reusing it from the A7S III. It has a fan, but like, it's not a groundbreaking camera. It was just phenomenally useful in 1,000 different ways. So that's my defense of Sony, my Sony fanboying.
That's fine. I'm a Sony fan too.
Yeah. In terms of the competition on the market, I have the ZR. The ZR is punch for punch, probably spec-wise, right up there.
Yeah.
The R6V, I've talked to Jake on my show. He's like very much, and we covered the FX5 launch, and he was like, oh man, should I go Sony? But the R6V, spec-wise, does a lot of the same stuff. The killer stuff in here is I don't think this is a content creator camera. I mean, I'll just give you my hot takes in terms of what I think. This is not a content creator camera. It's not meant to be. There are going to be some high-end, you know, you think the MKBHD is a content creator, and he shoots everything on red. You know, he's reviewing the newest iPhone, but he's got 2 Red Ravens. Right. Way overkill. Yeah. So there will be plenty of content creators, YouTubers that are going to use this as their main camera, and it's going to look phenomenal. But where they built this is the Venice Burano blank line. Yeah. If you are shooting movies, large scale commercials on a Burano, which is a $25,000 camera, this is the first camera that has XOCN, which is Sony's RAW codec, built in. That's not a $25,000 Burano.
Yeah.
So to me, that's where this is like
interesting.
What you get for it is really incredible for what they chose to price it at. And I think they could have gone more expensive and there would have still been just as much buzz about it. I think it's a great camera. Do I need it? It's, you know, Sophie, you're not wrong. It's sitting in my cart. I've got it pulled up right here.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think that I mean, we talked about this last week, Todd, is I'm fully in belief of you buy the camera that is going to solve the problem of your work currently.
Yeah.
And I'm supremely happy with my A7S III and my FX3 as a combined package. The ZR shoots beautiful red code as long as you are willing to deal with the file sizes of Red RAW, and a Red RAW that's not even like in the Komodo X, because the Komodo X lets you compress Red RAW. This one is this is just brutal file sizes. So I don't know where this fits. And then the third thing in my mind is, Todd, when you came on my show and I gave you guys my, you know, outdoor interview setup, you all picked my $1,000 Blackmagic 4K as your favorite, which I have that camera too. So if I want a compressed RAW that is beautiful and easy to work with, I have a 4K. So to me, it's a beautiful camera. And if I wasn't happy with what I have right now, it would be a very compelling camera at that price point. I just, you know, tell me why I'm wrong on this. I will say one other thing I learned, which is cool, and it's going to take some finagling, but the handle, the XLR handle that gets you 32-bit float, goes
Yeah.
into the hot shoe. There's another port that plugs the EVF in. It blocks everything. So you kind of, if you just want the camera, you're going to have to make a choice between the XLR handle or the EVF, which to me is stupid. You should have both. It looks like there are some third-party adapters that are going to run basically like extension cables out. So if you built this out to look like an FX6 or be more of that like shoulder-mounted rig, you'll be able to use the EVF and the XLR handle. Because to me, those are two selling features. If you make it where I have to pick great EVF or 32-bit float, that's kind of a weird selling point. And you know, the XLR handle's $600, the EVF is $600. So if you're invested in this, you're another $1,200 into this camera, and you can't use both. So I'd like to see, like you guys waiting on the Luna accessories and build outs and stuff. To me, that's another thing where let's see what some of these third-party companies can build out to make this even more useful. It's in my cart.
There's one other bigger barrier to entry for me as well, and that is the memory requirements. It's saying it requires VPG 400 CFexpress Type A memory cards to get the most powerful video recording.
Right.
And that's a $300 starting point.
At least.
That's impressive.
That's impending. That's another like, because memory cards now you're like, ooh, it hurts.
We almost got into this debate. We didn't have it on my last Creative Lens show. So I don't know if this is the right place because we could talk forever. But I will also say that was another rumor or kind of concern I had. I know you shoot on a slightly older Sony camera.
Yep.
Todd. But if you're in the FX3 world, you already bought CFexpress Type A cards.
Okay.
I have 1,000. I mean, there's a 480 and I have a 960. That's the 960. So I'm in $1,000 to CFexpress Type A because that's the only way you get you get the intra recording on the FX3. The rumor was that CFexpress Type B cards actually get you a higher read put. The Burano has CFexpress Type B. My fear was they were going to move everything to CFB and make us buy everybody who's coming from the FX3. Now you got to take $1,000 and go buy new CFexpress Type B cards. So the fact that they're maintaining you're getting XOC and RAW on the slower CFexpress Type A cards is actually a benefit. Even though you might not be invested in it, I think anybody that's coming from an FX3 probably already has those cards. More so than like when I got the ZR, this shoots CFexpress Type B. That was annoying because I don't own another camera with Type B cards. So I had to go out and buy CFexpress Type B cards just to be able to shoot red code in that camera. So that, what would be great is USB-C recording like the Blackmagics do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that Blackmagic has developed, but no other company has let us have that. But that is the killer feature, is to get straight out to an SSD that I can buy on my own. But you're right, memory. I mean, if you're getting into a new camera system in 2026, it's going to be painful whichever way you go, unless it's both of you two who have built-in storage. Sophie's laughing over here because she's like, I got 120 gigs. I don't need memory cards anymore.
I have not bought an SD card for any of my Muse cameras.
Exactly. So built-in is great. It's going to hurt either way, though.
Here's what I found, and we've talked about this. I don't need cutting-edge cameras for the work that I'm doing. I like to get I'm mostly shooting 24 or 30p, and it's commercials for television or social media. And so so far, my FS5s have been fantastic, and I haven't had a need to move up. However, I'm excited about this because I feel like the FX30s will be on the market soon for a very good price. Because the FX30, I have also found, we had this conversation before, that full frame versus APS-C, if you have the right lenses, you almost can't tell a difference visually. I'm sure
Especially
the
with
spec,
that's for like social media.
yeah, I'm sure the spec monsters can do it. But like, if I pop a really nice prime 1.5 on my APS-C sensor, it looks as dreamy and bokeh filled as anything I've ever seen. So I don't feel the need to get the full frame. I I was actually in the market for the FX30, the one that just has the APS-C, also because all of my lenses, all my glass is ready for that. So it's a very easy move for me to go like, oh, I'm just gonna get the body, and I can rock and roll.
Are you only in APS-C lens world mostly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense for you, because I was talking
Yeah.
to somebody who had left a comment on one of my YouTube videos asking about lenses and new cameras in y'all's price bracket, like the
Yeah.
Luna Ultra versus, like, if you were going to go interchangeable lens system, what would you go versus getting a Pocket 4P or a Muse 2 or a Luna, whatever.
Yeah.
My suggestion has always been, if you go interchangeable lens, spend the money on the full frame lenses, because that will graduate with you, versus like I did basically where you're at, Todd, which is like I got into the Sony system with an A6500 APS-C lens or APS-C camera. APS-C lenses are cheaper, lighter, easier to buy. So I bought 3 or 4 of those and then graduated to an A7S III. And now all of a sudden they sit back there on the shelf. They're pretty, but they don't get pulled out because they are handicapped by only fitting on that sensor.
Right.
So I always,
the journey of starting with APS-C, I was shooting with Fuji cameras, everything. And I've had like 5 or 6 lenses for Fuji cameras. And then I transitioned to Lumix full frame and had to buy a whole new set of lenses, which are more expensive and heavier and bigger. And it's just a whole thing. And then I sold all of my Fuji lenses. And then like 2 or 3 years later, I was craving Fuji again. So I got another Fuji camera and now I need all of the lenses back.
Oh no. I was just going to do a little pitch here for that too. Like, this is not sponsored, but have you guys ever tried using that MPB for selling camera gear?
I love it so much. I buy and sell on MPB. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I used to sell on eBay, and what a pain in the backside that is. And you get all this
Try
finagling.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. And these people are always like, the worst thing with selling electronics on eBay is, for some reason, you'll get someone to snipe it at the last second who's just a competitor. They never pay you. And now you have to relist again. And I was like, I am going crazy. But that MPB experience was so good. I can't recommend it enough to people. Like,
you get less money for your gear, but it's a lot smoother process.
I don't know that it's even less, really, because after you take out those eBay fees and everything.
I'm serious. Facebook Marketplace. You get the most on Facebook Marketplace if you have to deal with people.
Yeah, you have to deal with people. Yeah, I liked that ease of use. That was a very good experience I had. I agree. One other question, and it's going to go to Colden, and you'll find this one interesting, Sophie. And that is, you're getting rid of the Nikon already. You just got it.
Yes and no.
Oh, okay.
Yes and no. We talked about this before the show, and I know that you wrote it down. I'm not getting rid of the Nikon.
Oh, okay.
I am sending it back in because I just found out, and this is old, but there's a recall on it. Now let's talk about this, because I'm quite impressed. And most companies don't do this. I've always said Sony has done fantastic by me. I've had issues with my Sony cameras. So there is on the newer Nikon ZRs. So to throw back to what you were just talking about, I bought the ZR used. Sophie, I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. It's a $2,200 camera. I got it for $17. It was barely touched. It's a great sale as long as you can be safe on Facebook Marketplace and people aren't crazy. Yeah. I fully agree with you. It is one of the batches that was apparently as part of a recall because some of their manufacturing parts weren't up to their standards, is what the press release says.
Okay.
So they said, and mine functions totally fine. I have no issues with it. My fear is that I participate in this recall and then they send it back to me and something's wrong with it. I have no issue with it. But I appreciate the same way we opened the show with Xtra emailing everybody and providing refunds prior to everybody having to go and ask. When companies are willing to say, hey, we have this issue, we noticed it in a couple of cameras, we will pay for you to ship it back. So I'm not paying for shipping. We will completely repair all of the functions and parts that we have deemed to be not to our standard. And then we will ship it back to you, no cost to you. And they've made the process incredibly seamless. Like I went through this in 20 minutes yesterday, put my information in, put the serial number in. They emailed me the shipping code.
That's
It was
awesome.
done.
That's amazing.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm impressed by Nikon on that. There's lots of things about this Nikon camera that I wish were more thought through when they released it. We're at 320 days of this camera having been released. They still haven't given us a firmware that fixes a lot of the stuff that would make it competitive with this FX5 launch.
Okay.
For instance, here's a weird one. You guys get overlays, raw overlays or log overlays. If you use a log overlay in red code, you don't get focus peaking. So if you're on a manual lens and you're trying to focus, which I've been testing these new lenses out that are fully cine manuals.
That sucks.
You either get contrast or you get focus peaking. You don't get both.
That's a brutal thing to have somebody choose between.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's just strange.
And as I admitted yesterday, I'm old. My glasses. This is terrible. I need focus peaking. That would be a nightmare for me. I rely heavily on that.
And the Nikon screen is amazing. It's 1,000 nit brightness. It's a 4-inch screen. You know, it shows Sony went from a 3-inch touch screen to a 3.5 in the FX5. They're looking at what the ZR did and they're competing with it. Like they couldn't go full 4-inch because it'd blow up the size of that FX5. But the screen on the Nikon is amazing to get to use. It just, when you can't use it for focus peaking and light control, then you're using another monitor or the app that comes with it. Like you have to go outside. And so those are things that I wish could be fixed. But much as Sony has taken care of me when I've had issues with my Sony cameras, the fact that Nikon will let you send it in, they'll pay for all the shipping, they'll pay for the repairs, they'll send it back. They're not going to try and give you we'll repair it, but it's $100. This goes back to our DJI concerns.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen list after list after list of people that have the screen broken on their Pocket 3s, other cameras, and they go to send it in. I've had issues with my drones where they're like, okay, we'll repair it after I pay for their
DJI care.
care coverage. And they go, okay, well, you ship it back to us. So that's $50.
Yeah.
And then also it's $100 deposit to fix everything. So I paid $300 for your care and $50 for, it's not taking care of your customers. And granted, they're prosumer versus really professional level camera companies. But that is why I'm kind of sending the Nikon back in, because Nikon's taking care of it. And I'd rather have the issue fixed before it's an issue than to be on a shoot and have the camera gray out and like, what do you do now?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's the other scary thing. And partly where I come from in this is that I am a pretty small operation. I don't ever go on a shoot with one camera. So when I'm looking at cameras, I need to have two. And because if I have a failure, I've got a backup. So it's not just one I'm buying two. So that's always sort of the challenge there. And I have a kit built out for two of those, the FX5s. Or FS5. So I guess I could get the 30. I'll buy just one, and I'd still have those as my fallback. But yeah, getting into a whole new system with those cards, those memory cards, those scare me.
Let's see.
But
yeah.
But I will also say, for any of those cameras that you're looking at, what you do, you are fully able to do on SDs. The only time where I felt like I had to upgrade to the CFexpress Type A cards is for the FX3. It gets you 120 frames, 4K in all intra, which the only reason why you need all intra is because that's the only codec that's allowed on Netflix. All the other ones are too compressed. So if you're shooting very high quality deliverables at 120 frames, you got to get those. But any of the other formats, you're fine. I would assume with the FX5, if you want to shoot their XOC and RAW, you got to get the SD or the CFexpress, right? But if what you're doing, if you're going shooting interviews,
the only thing
I've lived off of SD cards.
I think the only thing I'd probably use that for is anytime I get into music video. I like when I do a music video for a customer, I like it to be as I know we choke on this word, cinematic as possible. So I would want that for that application, even if it's overkill. So that's where it gets like,
I would tell you, I've done so many data tests on my FX3, and I could not tell you in a realistic setting the difference between all intra and so like cinematic is how you light it, how you shoot it, what lenses you choose.
Agreed.
I think the difference between 240 and 400 megabits a second, I'd be hard pressed to find somebody, especially if you're delivering this to YouTube, that's going to find the difference on that. Yeah, really.
I like to hear that too, because I do think that FX3 shoots a beautiful picture. Whenever my one guy he has that and an FX6, and when I bring him on, we do concert footage for the Canton Symphony, and it's like his camera. I'm always like, oh God, that camera looks so. I don't know what it is. It just looks so much better even than these. It's not a big giant camera. I think it just does a great job because he puts it on a gimbal, and those shots, you're just like, those are dreamy shots.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I fully agree. I think it's hard to beat. That's why it was the GOAT. And I honestly, I think this FX5 is going to replace that as the next 5 years of the GOAT camera, that you're not going to be able to define it necessarily, because if you look at specs, the ZR is already, ahead of it, or the Canon, but you're just going to look at the image, you're going to go, that is a really nice looking picture. And that's what they do well. That's why they can price it a little bit ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. Well, I think that makes for a really great show. Thank you, Sophie, for joining us. Really enjoy having you on and hearing your perspectives. Hopefully we'll do it. Hopefully we'll do it again. Yeah, anytime. And Colden, as always, I always appreciate having you on. You have all of the nerd knowledge covered. I love it.
I so appreciate you getting my name right today, Todd.
I did call you Colden, didn't I? I did call you Colden, right?
Yeah.
I totally had a total brain cramp, and I left that in the end of that episode with Colden and I. So if you want to see me completely say his name wrong, I think at least 5 or 6 times, and even there was a point where he's like, I saw him going. He was going to say, and
there was a moment where you can see in my face, you go back and watch that video, I go, am I Jake? Have I been living my truth wrong all this time? I'm Jake. Whoa.
Yeah. It was just like so embarrassing, especially because the way Colt looks he looks so sheepish too. The way he just put his head, would you mind calling me? Or would you like to try that again, calling me by my name? I was like, oh my God. So I left it all in because
Sophie, come be a recurring guest on this show, and you too could be called the wrong name by Todd. It's so much fun.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Who would say no to that?
That's right. Exactly. Well, thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do all the things, and we'll see you soon.